And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by Alan Renshaw. And Alan Renshaw writes, I saw some statements made by Chloe Zhao in which she seemed to indicate that she was interested in doing a Star Wars movie. This sounds great, and I would love to see her direct a movie in the next trilogy. What are your thoughts? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yes, of course, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure most of you guys do, Chloe Zhao is, say it with me, the reigning, defending world best director. She is the defending best director Oscar winner. Of course, she won for Nomadland, one of the best films I've seen in years. She's absolutely incredible. And of course, she's got that little Marvel movie, I don't know if you've heard of it, Rob, called The Eternals. That's coming out shortly. We're all very, very excited about it. And of course, she is simply one of the hottest names in directing right now. Everybody's excited. I mean, Kevin Feige has been just gushing about Chloe Zhao since she started making Eternals. He's even said he thinks Eternals is going to be a Best Picture contender and all this kind of stuff. Well, in doing some media build up for Eternals, the guys over at Empire, and that's a great outlet, Empire. The guys over at Empire, in hearing her talk about Eternals and stuff like that and all the buildup, they noticed that she kept on kind of referencing Star Wars a lot. So at some point, the reporter for Empire just broke it down and said, listen, you've mentioned Star Wars like 5 or 6 times here. Are you ever going to direct a Star Wars film? This is what she said. She said, I have to tread very carefully with what I say here. Yes, let's just say it's a world I have so much reverence for because it was such an important part of my life. So in asking if she would ever want to do a Star Wars film, she first says, I have to be very careful with what I say. Let's just say it's a world I have a lot of reverence for because it was such an important part of my life. That comes to us from Chloe Zhao, as asked by the folks over there at Empire. Listen, the most important person involved with any film, and there are many important people and many important roles involved with film, but the most important one is always the director. That's where it starts and finishes with. That's where the blame gets laid. That's where the glory gets heaped, is at the director. When you have a great director in the chair, every movie has a chance. Every movie has a chance when you have a great director in the chair. Rob, I imagine that's why William Shatner accepted being in Free Enterprise, because they had a great director in the chair.
Yeah, we just had to pay him.
Or pay him, one of the two. But you always have a better chance. You have a great chance when you start off with a great director in the chair. And, obviously for me, my last Star Wars note, Star Wars Visions notwithstanding, it ended a little bit sour with The Rise of Skywalker, which I did not like at all. But, the concept to me, Rob, I gotta say, dude, the concept to me, because you know how much I love Nomadland. Like I went bananas I watched that movie and I just couldn't believe I saw that level of character and storytelling. I was so enraptured with it. I absolutely adored it. It made me 10 times more excited for Eternals.
Yep.
The notion, the idea that a Chloe Zhao could be directing a Star Wars feature film at some point, I'm not going to lie to you, Rob, it makes it move a little bit. I'm a little bit excited about this notion. Maybe even quite a bit. And the way she even played on the words, like, okay, do I want to direct a Star Wars film? All right, I have to be very careful how I answer this. I don't know if she hasn't already been talking to people. I mean, look, I don't want to get ahead of this too much. I mean, who knows what. But listen, if they came out and said that Chloe Zhao was going to be directing a Star Wars film, I would frickin' fry a wire. I mean, I would be so damn excited. I can't even put it into words. Anyway, Rob, you heard Chloe Zhao's comments here. Number one, what would you think of a Chloe Zhao stepping into a galaxy far, far away and trying to do a Star Wars film? And number two, trying to play detective and putting on your overreaction hat. Reading her comments, do you think that maybe that's something that might be in the cards? How do you see it?
Well, first of all, I mean, you have, like you said, the reigning defending champion for best director in the world, who just finished a Marvel film for Disney the parent company that owns Star Wars. And I don't think it's too big of a leap to say that if Kevin Feige feels as he does about Eternals, if that's actually the case, because I think the Eternals, I don't think we know what we're going to get. I think it's going to be a much more, they've shown us, like with Shang-Chi, very little of the movie. And I think that what it's really about and the impact it's going to have on viewers has only been hinted at. And if what I suspect is true, I'm sure that somebody said to her, we would really like you to stay on board and do a Star Wars film for us. I mean, I can't imagine that conversation wasn't had. Especially you're the best director and you've made a film that people seem to really respect. It's, and I'll bet you I'll bet not only is she probably going to make a Star Wars movie, I bet it was her idea about what kind of a movie it is. I bet she pitched him the same way she pitched on Eternals, and they liked what she was saying, and they because she's a visionary director, and so I would say probably faux show is she going to do a Star Wars movie.
Now, I was going to bring something up, but in the live chat, talking Star Wars kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but I'll throw this out here too. You know, there's another Marvel guy who's been working on a Star Wars film, and I'm not talking about Taika Waititi, but I'm talking about Kevin Feige.
Yep.
And just saying, when you hear how much Feige has been gushing about Chloe Zhao and her, aptitude as a director and all that kind of stuff, and he's got a Star Wars film that he's going to be producing, and now Chloe Zhao, I mean, could we see Chloe Zhao directing the Kevin? I mean, it would seem to make sense, right? Like, is this as an A connects to B sort of thing, right? That she would direct Kevin Feige's produced Star Wars film?
I would absolutely say, I mean, wouldn't you do that? Especially if it's like, from a business perspective, if Eternals is as good as Kevin Feige says it is, I would assume, and because that was, as we know, Chloe Zhao pitched him on her idea or her vision, and they went with that, I would think it was a natural. I'm sure probably Kevin Feige said to her at one point, hey, do you have any interest in doing a Star Wars movie? I mean, that's just good business.
Yeah, and we'll see how good Eternals is, because I'm going to see it on October 18th. I'm seeing it in, 12 days from now.
I'm jelly, buddy. Jelly.
12 days from now. And we'll see. Was Nomadland a fluke for Chloe Zhao? Was it just the beginning of the peak of her brilliance? We'll find out. Question is for you guys. What do you think about the idea of Chloe Zhao directing a Star Wars movie? And of course, we're just guessing. We're pulling it completely out of our ass, and it might be Kevin Feige's movie or whatever. But I mean, how would you feel about that? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave your thoughts there.